You're born in the shadow of Rome's empire, somewhere between dust and destiny. Your first cry barely echoes before chains claim your wrists. Maybe you were born free. Maybe you were stolen in war. Maybe your parents sold you because hunger chews harder than guilt. Doesn't matter. By the time you can stand, your life belongs to someone else. You grow up not with lullabies, but with the clang of iron, the taste of porridge so thin it's more memory than meal. Your hands blister before they even learn softness. Childhood? Rome doesn't care. You're not a child. You're an investment. At 7, you watch men fight in a wooden arena behind the barracks. Dust rises like smoke. Muscles shine with sweat. The crowd of soldiers howls. One man falls. Another plants his sword in his chest. Blood sprays. The crowd cheers. That's the first time you understand. Life here isn't about living. It's about performing. Survival is theater. Death is entertainment. And you're being trained to play a starring role. By 10, the lanista, your owner, your trainer, your prison guard, decides you're strong enough to join the ludus, the gladiator school. Welcome to the real world. Walls high enough to crush hope. Gates iron thick, shutting out freedom, but locking in fear. Every corridor smells of oil, piss, and iron. And you sleep shoulder to shoulder with other boys, some younger than you, some older, some already broken. You hear their whispers in the night, prayers to gods who don't answer, curses against fate, quiet sobs that never last long because weakness invites punishment. The first lesson isn't how to fight, it's how to obey. Fail to bow, you get whipped. Speak without permission, you bleed. Even laughter costs you bruises. The second lesson, your body isn't yours anymore. Trainers weigh you, measure you, poke your muscles. You're a horse to them, a weapon in the making. They feed you barley mash and beans, heavy food to build heavy muscle. They call you hordeari, barley men. A joke, but not really. Rome builds its killers on cheap grain. At 12, you pick up your first practice weapon, a wooden sword, twice as heavy as the real thing. Your arms scream, your back cracks, but you swing again and again until sweat blinds you and vomit stings your throat. Trainers sneer, the sword is your father now, the shield, your mother. Learn to love them or die without them. You learn footwork like a dance, except here missteps cost lives, not pride. You learn to roll in dust, to rise with blood in your mouth, to strike when your lungs burn for air. Every muscle becomes a tool, every scar a lesson. You're not just learning to kill, you're learning how to die beautifully. At 14, you're matched against another trainee in the practice pit. No wood this time. Blunted iron, but still heavy enough to break bones. The crowd of gladiators circles. They howl, they bet, they jeer. Your heart hammers like a drum. Then the whistle. The boy rushes you, eyes wild. His strike glances your shield, but the weight knocks you flat. Dust fills your throat. The crowd laughs. Trainers shout, up or die like a dog. You scramble, block, swing wildly. Your blade connects with his ribs. He gasps, crumples. The fight ends. You won. The taste of victory is iron and bile. Your hands tremble all night. You can't decide what's worse, that you nearly killed him, or that for the first time you felt the thrill of power. Soon your body hardens, muscles like stone, reflexes sharp as a wolf's. The lanista notices. He chooses your style. You're not just a fighter now. You're a role. Maybe you're a murmillo, with heavy shield and helmet like a fish crest. Maybe a retiarius, dancing with net and trident, fast but fragile. Maybe a secutor, chasing down your prey. Whatever the style, Rome loves categories. You're not a man anymore. You're a type, a costume for the arena's stage. By 16, you step into your first real amphitheater. The noise hits you like a wave. Tens of thousands of voices smashing together, chanting, booing, roaring. The sun blinds, hot as a forge. Dust swirls. Your heart thunders so loud you barely hear the announcer calling your name. Then the gate creaks open and your opponent enters. Bigger, older, scarred. The crowd howls louder. They love unfair fights. They love watching boys drown against men. The signal drops. He charges. You raise your shield just in time, the impact rattling your bones. You stab, miss, stumble. The crowd jeers. He swings, your helmet rings. You taste blood. Instinct takes over. Training screams in your muscles. Step, block, strike. Again, again. Dust blinds, sweat blinds, but finally, your blade bites. His leg buckles. He crashes down. The crowd erupts, half cheering, half booing. The emperor's thumb hovers. Down means death. Up means mercy. The crowd shouts. You stare at the trembling man, his eyes begging. Not to you, to Rome. You realize in that moment, his fate isn't in your hands. It never was. The emperor lifts his hand. Mercy. Relief floods. The fight ends. You survived. That's all that matters. From then on, fights blur together. Sometimes you win by skill, sometimes by chance. Sometimes the crowd wants blood, sometimes mercy. You learn the truth. Gladiators aren't warriors. They're actors in Rome's greatest lie. Every battle is theater. Every death is spectacle. Your pain is a feast, your survival a cliffhanger. The mob decides who lives, who dies, who becomes legend. And you? You're just their puppet. At 20, you've survived longer than most. Scars crisscross your body like maps of suffering. Your left knee grinds with every step. Your ribs ache in the cold. But your name spreads. You're not just another barley man. You're famous. Women throw flowers when you enter the arena. Merchants sell clay dolls in your image. Children chant your name in alleys. You taste glory for the first time, and it tastes like ash. Because fame doesn't free you, it chains you tighter. The more Rome loves you, the more Rome owns you. You fight not just for survival, but for the story, for the crowd's hunger, for the emperor's mood. And when your brothers fall beside you, their blood soaking sand, you learn not to flinch, not to mourn. Tomorrow that might be you. You've seen every kind of death, the quick slice, the slow bleed, the scream that fades into silence. You know how a man looks when hope leaves his eyes. You know the sound of ribs breaking under iron. You know the way blood steams on hot sand. And still, every time the gate opens, your legs shake like the first day. Fear never leaves. It just hides under scars. At 25, you earn the ludus, a wooden sword, symbol of freedom. The crowd roars, the emperor nods. You've fought enough, bled enough, survived enough. You're free. The gates open for you to walk away. Some men do. Most don't. Freedom means poverty, begging on streets, scars as your only wealth. Here in the arena, you're someone. Out there, you're nothing. You stare at the wooden blade in your hands and realize it feels lighter than air, but heavier than chains. Maybe you take it. Maybe you stay. Either way, the truth is the same. Rome doesn't forget, but it doesn't care either. The crowd that cheered your name today will cheer your replacement tomorrow. The sand drinks every drop of blood the same way. If you stay, you fight until your body breaks, until your name fades, until one unlucky strike sends you into silence. If you leave, you carry the ghosts with you. The faces of every man you killed, every scream you ignored, every thumb you watched drop. They haunt you in dreams, follow you in markets, sit beside you at taverns. Years pass. Your hair grays early. Your hands stiffen. Scars ache when it rains. You tell stories to wide-eyed boys, stories that taste sweeter than truth. You say you were cheered by emperors, loved by crowds, blessed by gods. You don't tell them how you vomited before every fight, how you prayed to every god you could name, how you woke screaming in the night. They wouldn't listen anyway. They want heroes, not broken men. At 40, rare for a gladiator, you sit by a fire. Your body bent, your spirit tired. Rome still roars in the distance, still demands blood in the sand. But you've given enough. You close your eyes, you remember the dust, the noise, the heat. You remember the faces, the fear, the fleeting taste of freedom. And when you finally breathe your last, Rome forgets you. But the sand remembers. The walls remember. The ghosts remember. Because your life as a gladiator was never yours. It was theirs. It was Rome's. A story written in blood, applause, and silence. You were born in chains. You fought in dust. You died in whispers. But for a moment, under the burning sun, with the crowd roaring and your sword raised high, you lived like a god. And that, in Rome, is the closest thing to freedom you ever got.